Introduction to PPE. My name is Juma Maleve, a public health specialist. This video is to demonstrate the proper use and reuse of the personal protective equipment. What is PPE? Personal protective equipment is a specialized clothing or equipment worn to protect you, colleagues, and patients against infectious agents in the healthcare workplace. The types of PPEs are gloves, gowns, coverall gown, goggles, shoe covers, face shield, caps, surgical mask for the patients, and N95 mask for care of the confirmed or suspected cases. Blood and body fluids of any patient could be infectious. All must wear PPE properly to guarantee its effectiveness, make it more comfortable, and maintain its safety and efficacy. Some tips: avoid applying makeup. Put a balm on your nose so that it does not rub uncomfortably. Wear your hair up. Avoid facial hair that interferes with the equipment. Know where and how you can obtain appropriate PPE at the beginning of each shift. When should PPEs be worn? Different roles and different situations require different kits of PPE. This guarantees the necessary protection according to their levels of exposure. Gloves. Used when touching blood, body fluids, secretions, excretions, contaminated items, mucous membranes, and non-intact skin. Gowns. Used during procedures and patient care activities when there is contact of clothing or exposed skin with blood or body fluids, excretions, and secretions. Mask and goggles or face shield. Used during patient care activities likely to generate splashes or sprays of blood, body fluids, secretions, or excretions. Which PPE should I be wearing? Performing a short risk assessment can serve as a guide to healthcare professionals in determining the PPE required by asking yourselves the following question. 1. Am I at risk of exposure to blood or body fluids? 2. Is my face at risk? 3. Are my hands at risk? 4. Are my clothes at risk? And 5. Is the patient known or suspected to have infectious disease? When you are selecting PPE, consider 3 key things. First is the type of the anticipated risk exposure. This is determined by the type of anticipated exposure, such as touch, splashes, or sprays, or large volumes of blood or body fluids that might penetrate the clothing. PPE selection, in particular, the combination of PPE, also is determined by the category of isolation precautions a patient is on. Each isolation precaution demands its own specific measures. Second, and very much linked to the first, is the durability and appropriateness of the PPE for the task. This will affect, for example, whether a gown or an apron is selected for PPE, or if a gown is selected, whether it needs to be fluid resistant, fluid proof, or neither. Third is fit. How many of you have seen someone trying to work in PPE that is too small or large? PPE must fit the individual user, and it is up to the employer to ensure that all PPE are available in sizes appropriate for the workforce that must be protected. What are the do's and the don'ts of PPE? The do's: perform hand hygiene before and after handling and donning or doffing PPE. Immediately remove and replace broken piece or pieces of Reusable PPE. Immediately remove PPE after completing any procedure to avoid contamination, other services and areas. Properly discard all single-use PPE like gloves immediately after use in the proper bin liner. Work from clean to dirty. Change gloves during use if torn and when heavily soiled, even with the same patient. Limit opportunities for touch contamination. Use hazardous waste receptacle if hazardous materials were handled. Don'ts. Do not touch your face or adjust PPE with contaminated gloves. Do not touch environmental services except as necessary during patient care. Do not wash or reuse disposable gloves.